So a large part of what the State Department does is provide information to the press and the public about U.S. foreign affairs. Every day, State briefs reporters on the latest updates and also takes their questions.
Jen Psaki is the department's lead spokeswoman, but Patrick Ventrell is here. He's the director of the press office. You've also spent quite a bit of time behind the podium yourself, and I always kind of wondered, what is it like? How do you really get that job? What kind of person does it take?
Well, we're a mix of different people here at the State Department. I'm a career Foreign Service officer and have served at a number of overseas posts and embassies and at our mission at the United Nations and as a spokesperson for the U.S. government at a variety of embassies. And so when I came back here to Washington a couple of years, I started as the press office director, and we do coordinate every day to have nearly every single day of the working day of the year have an interaction with the press, usually an on-camera briefing where we can hear from reporters around the world and answer their questions to the best of our ability.
Now, is each day a typical day? Because it seems if you're watching the State Department, things can get pretty hairy, as you know we've had around here recently, obviously. So, do you tend to scramble back there behind closed doors to figure out what you're going to say, and what kind of team does it take to present what you're going to say to the public?
Well, we work very hard. We do, of course, have a daily routine, but no day is typical. There are many world issues that come up. Of course, some of the hottest conflicts in the world, but reporters want to know about U.S. policy all over the world. And so we have a whole team of advisors who are working in our regional bureaus who are experts on all sorts of issues. And they come and brief us over the period of 2 to 3 hours every day to get ready for the briefing. So it's a routine process, I'd say, in the sense that we have a regular schedule. We have a set of briefings that we do every day to get ready, but the topics can change dramatically, the issues can change dramatically, and it takes a long time to get ready and present on behalf of the U.S. government the views of not only this department, but the government more widely.
Now, it's interesting to watch. Sometimes there are some pretty heated discussions that happen during the briefing. How do you handle that when you're standing up there?
You have to stay calm and know that you're speaking on behalf of your government. You're not presenting personal views, you're presenting the consensus view of the department and the U.S. government. And I think reporters are as you all are reporters, have a right and need to ask good and tough questions. And so we see that as part of the process. Even some of the most tense moments or most heated exchanges are with colleagues. I consider all the journalists here who cover the State Department colleagues, foreign affairs experts as well, and it's a chance for us to exchange candid views and have a real good exchange.
Finally, you know, it's very interesting, the format of the briefing. You really let reporters ask as many questions as they want. How does that speak to State's mission?
You know, our mission is to engage on behalf of the American people around the world, and we take that responsibility seriously. While, of course, sometimes when you take hundreds of questions in a day, it may seem laborious, but quite the contrary, it's an opportunity for us to be transparent, to engage, and to defend the positions of the U.S. government. And we take that transparency mission seriously, and we take seriously the opportunity to explain to people around the world what our positions are. Oftentimes there's confusion. You look at situations, whether it's Egypt or other places, where people may not have a clear understanding of what our views are, and so sometimes you have to repeat the view over and over again, but it's something that we take seriously.
Patrick Ventrell, the head of the State Department Press Office.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, Patrick. All right, well, still to come, we talk with our correspondent in Cairo about Egyptians' growing animosity toward the United States. You're watching On Assignment.